it's going.
Okay. Alrighty, so we thought we'd put together a small video to help explain the infographic that was sent out in the email, just in case anyone can't attend the training or is confused by it somehow. So here's a similar diagram that's in the infographic. This is the line with the hash here, that's the sand on the bottom, and then you've got the 4 wave zones. So the way we'll talk about how you handle each one. So the first one is zone 1, and that is just the waves rolling in. They're just lumpy. They might be big, but they're still lumpy. They're not breaking yet. And that's key, because in that case, you can just keep swimming like normal, and you'll just get lifted up and put back down. The first zone that you need to pay attention to here, zone 2, is where they're actually breaking. And so obviously you don't want to get stuck under this lip when it's coming down, and that's the tricky part. So the way you handle that swimming in, you'll be swimming towards the beach in that direction, and your surf angel will holler out to you to let you know something's coming up behind you. Then you'll stop swimming, you'll turn around, you'll face the wave, and then dive under it, very deep. Go all the way to the sand. You'll see little white seashells before you hit the sand, and it's clear enough to see. So you're not going to bonk into the bottom. It goes as deep as you can. The deeper you go, the less wave action you're going to experience, and you won't get thrown around. So you dive to the sand, wait for that wave energy to go over you. You'll feel it. You don't have to see it, and then just come up. And before you expel your air as you're coming up to the top, look and make sure there's not another wave about to crash, because you'll need that air to go back down. And if there's nothing there, to take a breath and then start swimming back towards the beach. So that's zone 2. The next one that's kind of gnarly, can be gnarly, is zone 3. And that on the diagram is called the big whitewater zone. So here, the wave is broken. It's not going to land on your head, but it's still a lot of rolling water, a lot of white water. And the water is very aerated. It will still push you. And the way to deal with it is the same way you dealt with zone 2. Basically, someone will holler, turn around, face it, and then dive underneath it as deep as you can go and come up on the backside of the wave once the energy passes. The weird thing about this zone is the water can be so aerated, especially if the water is shallow, that you will not float, or you won't float very well, and it can freak some folks out. You'll see all the bubbles, you'll have goggles on, you'll see the bubbles floating around, and as the bubbles leave, you'll float again. And just like in this zone, when you come up, make sure you look that something else is not about to smack into you before you let go of your air, because you might have to go down right away again. So that's zone 2, the big whitewater zone. After that, you can just start swimming towards the beach like normal. In the little whitewater zone, yeah, the whitewater will roll over you, but you don't necessarily have to dive under it. The force isn't that great. And so you just keep swimming, and ideally, these little whitewater, these little rollers coming in will just help push you towards the beach until you get into water where you can stand. Now, the other thing on this diagram, it's maybe a little hard to see. It is called out on that infographic. There's a little indentation, usually. There's a trough running along the beach at Ocean Beach. And if the sand is steeper, that trough will be deeper. Did not intend to rhyme. And so you'll think, oh, I'm standing, whatever, and then suddenly you'll just drop into a little trough, or sometimes there's just a hole. And not a problem, just keep going towards the beach, and eventually it'll rise up again. But the waves won't be that powerful right here. They'll be kind of mushy, actually. And yeah, at some point, your surf angel will probably say, okay, the waves are this is zone 1 or sorry, zone 4. The waves are the small whitewater, just keep swimming like normal. That's one of the things the surf angel will help with. And just keep going until you get to the beach, and then yay. There you go. You're in.